All right. You're listening to Idle Chatter with Average Jeff. Hey, how is everybody today? Welcome back to the Idle Chatter podcast. It's Idle Chatter with Average Jeff. I'm here once again with my co-host T.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. And my creative director for the second time ever on a podcast. Please welcome Maddie. Maddie, welcome.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm great.
That's awesome. So, anyway, this is part 2 of our Tournament of Terror. We're calling this episode Tournament of Terror Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Yay! Yeah. So hopefully you've listened to the first one already, because if you haven't, this one's not going to make any sense. So you probably got to go back and listen to Tournament of Terror. And a small recap, we took 20 of our favorite movies that T and Maddie and myself have watched, 20 that we've all seen. We put them together in a battle of sorts, and we narrowed them down to 10. Today's episode, we're going to take those 10. But let's recap for the people. Like I said, if you haven't listened to the first episode,
you should just stop now and go back and listen, and then you can listen to this one later.
There you go. Very good, T. But anyway, T is going to kind of do a small recap, so let's hear it.
So, like Jeff said, we picked a bunch of movies and we paired them against each other in different categories, and we picked some winners. So I'm just going to go over the movies that were against each other and then their winners. So we had Hush versus A Quiet Place, and A Quiet Place won. And I'll try to keep my opinions to myself.
Nah, say them.
Okay,
go ahead.
Sure will.
That's what we're doing here. We were arguing about this stuff.
Yeah,
so
I just didn't want to get into another argument about
Fine.
it.
Go ahead.
But Shutter Island versus Silence of the Lambs, and while Maddie and I think that Shutter Island spot was well deserved in this tournament. Yes, everybody didn't agree with us, but
by everybody, she means me. I didn't think Shutter Island was a horror movie, but hey, I let you have it. It made it to the category, right?
Thank you.
It got its ass kicked, but it made it.
Yes, royally.
Yeah, it's a great film, but it's not Silence of the Lambs.
And you're right. And that's why Silence of the Lambs won.
Okay.
So next we did The Mist versus Carrie. And The Mist won, some Stephen King.
And we talked about how much 2 out of 3 of us cried like little babies watching The Mist.
Yes, I don't recall crying, but I do recall it having a very sad ending.
There you go.
Amityville Horror versus The Conjuring. And Amityville Horror won. Last House on the Left versus Hard Candy. Hard Candy won. Thank you, Patrick Wilson. Poltergeist versus Insidious. Poltergeist won. The Burbs versus Lost Boys. We went with The Burbs. Us versus The First Purge. The First Purge took it by a landslide.
Yes, it did.
House of a Thousand Corpses versus Evil Dead 2. And House of a Thousand Corpses didn't stand a chance. And Halloween versus Scream. And Halloween won, rightfully so.
Very good. Now you're up to date. Thanks, T.
You're very welcome.
Hey, speaking of that, the last one we did, 2 things I want to recap, and that was really cool. One, if you didn't listen to it, like I said, go back and listen to it. But remember, I think 3 out of us decided we kind of have these crushes on Patrick Wilson, which is a little creepy.
Wait.
2 of us only have crushes on Patrick Wilson?
I think that's just one.
Yeah,
I don't just one.
We never discussed that.
Wow. I won't tell you which one of us it is.
Yeah. So. You'll have to listen to the first podcast.
Yeah, listen to the first podcast.
It'll be pretty clear.
Yeah. So another thing I want to say is the one category we did, Evil Dead 2 versus House of a Thousand Corpses. And, of course, Evil Dead 2 won by a landslide because, one, it's Bruce Campbell. It's a classic and everything. But it almost sounded like we were throwing a little shade on the Rob Zombie movie, which House of a Thousand Corpses is a great movie. And I also want to say this. Last week we lost a dear icon to the horror genre, Sid Haig, who played Captain Spaulding in House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and the upcoming 3 from Hell. He's a great character, and he did some other amazing works. I mean, he was in so many films and everything, and just a wonderful guy, and it's sad that we lost him and everything. So anyway, to Sid Haig, God bless you, and, safe travels. Godspeed. So, should we get into this? Round two?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do this.
All right.
Yeah. One thing before I'll do the shameless plugs.
Oh, yep.
Check us out on Twitter at Idle Chat Podcast. Check me out on Facebook at Idle Chatter with Average Jeff. And don't forget averagejeff.net, a comedic look into the life of the middle-aged nothing. You can check out the podcast, past episodes on Podbean. Just search for Idle Chatter with Average Jeff. Search me out on Facebook, and I always post links. You can just click on the link. It'll take you right there. And I want to say, hopefully you're listening, but hopefully go back and listen to the first couple episodes. There's 3 past ones. So far, we have surpassed 100 listens. I about said views. And hey, T, you know what the most popular one is so far?
Which one?
The debut, you and me talking about all things Kmart.
That one was pretty great.
It was great, and it's kicking ass. It's like 90 people so far have listened to that one compared to the others.
Why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they? I mean, we got great chemistry. We're talking all things Kmart. You love Kmart. You love the blue light.
Kmart?
Who doesn't love Kmart?
Me.
Everybody in the country, because they're now gone.
Close.
Right.
So anyway, sorry about the shameless plugs. All right, let's get into this. So round 2, I'll take the lead on the first one, and then I'm going to shut the hell up. So, A Quiet Place versus Silence of the Lambs. I know, right?
Oh, funny. I didn't even catch that at first.
What?
Quiet Place.
Silence.
of the Lambs.
Oh, damn.
I didn't either.
Wow.
Uh,
I didn't either.
Good catch.
And that's why
she's the creative director.
That's why
right?
Maddie is the
See?
creative director.
Look at me.
Yeah. You're getting a raise. 10% raise of nothing is, I don't know the math.
Still
but-
nothing.
Yeah. Yay, Common Core math. All right, so I don't know. This is another one. I know the first round we did what? A Quiet Place versus Hush, and that was one I didn't know until we talked about it, what I was
Yeah.
going to decide. A Quiet Place versus Silence of the Lambs. Anybody want to go first?
This is easy for me.
Is it?
Silence of the Lambs, because A Quiet Place is a good movie, but it just doesn't hold a candle to Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs is iconic. That's an easy pick for me. And I picked A Quiet Place in the first category. The first time we talked about it, I picked it. And I do like it, but it's just not Silence of the Lambs.
Against another film like Silence of the
Yeah.
Lambs, you're going Silence of the Lambs.
Definitely.
Hey, great pick.
I think I'm going to be the odd one out here. I'm going to pick A Quiet Place.
Oh,
I liked Silence of the Lambs, but it never was just like that great movie for me. And I think it's just because I'm younger and it's just,
It doesn't
it's,
have John
yeah.
Krasinski.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but
I
it was
understand.
ahead of my time. A Quiet Place is more my era, and
yeah.
you know.
So 1 and 1. I'm the deciding
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Great. So anyway, thanks for listening to Idle Chatter with Average Jeff. This was great.
Stop stalling.
Yeah, next time we'll get back. We'll screw these Halloween themed things, and I'll give you a recipe on how to stuff a turkey or some shit. Sorry. Wow. A Quiet Place had that moment that just got to me when, like I said, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm going to say spoiler alert. You have 5 seconds to turn this off. 5, 4, 3, 2. When John Krasinski's character is the father, just shouts out, and he knows this is the end of him, and he lets his kids. That just gives you goosebumps.
Oh, I
It's
got
great.
goosebumps with you talking about it.
I
It was
know.
so good.
And I know
I
John
did not
Krasinski.
get goosebumps.
You didn't? I'm
No.
getting them now, even
Like a
talking about it.
robot.
But as far as overall movies, oh, shit. I mean, darn. I don't know. I don't want to tick T off because she's my co-host.
I'm
Eeny,
not,
meeny, miny, mo.
I'm
I
not
don't-
gonna be mad. You can pick what you want to pick.
My
I
heart's-
just know that for me, Silence of
Yeah.
the Lambs takes it, and
And as far as between the two, which one would I want to pop in the DVD player and watch again? I think Silence of the Lambs. That's going to be the toughest one for me to
Yeah.
decide. Really is. I think that was a tougher choice for me than when we did Hush versus.
A Quiet,
Quiet-
yeah,
A Quiet
that-
Place.
That was hard.
So Silence of the Lambs wins.
You
Correct.
didn't.
Silence of the Lambs. I'm going Silence of the Lambs.
okay.
You missed it. I said that was hard.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, forget it. It's not even worth it.
The moment's passed.
The moment's passed. I'm gonna get. I don't know if I can even do that with copyright stuff, but if I could,
if you could make a button for that,
I could make
that
a
would
button
be
for
so
that.
cool.
If I could just push a button,
And that would be great.
it would be great. If you could just push a button and make it great, that's what she said. I'm sorry.
All right, moving on. Next round, The Mist versus Amityville Horror.
I'll take the lead on this. I'm gonna let you two talk. Missed. I'm one word. Missed. Go.
That's. I think I gotta go with The Mist too.
I'm gonna go with Amityville Horror. I'm all about the classics.
I got you.
Amityville Horror is just, and it's much scarier than The Mist. So
Yeah, it is.
And you know we're talking about horror, and it's supposed to like scare your pants off. I feel like Amityville Horror is.
That's a very good point.
It's just
okay.
Look, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
Amityville Horror is one movie that I can't watch alone.
Yeah, it scares you.
So what did you pick though?
The Mist.
Why don't you pick Amityville Horror?
Because The Mist is just such a good movie. You know I'm a sucker for sappy movies.
Yeah, that's true. Can't wait till we do a podcast on the
Notebook.
Notebook.
Movies, though.
Yeah, that is true.
I know, but the sappy ones get me every time.
So 2 for The Mist and 1 for Amityville Horror. But T brings up a great point. The Amityville Horror is a more horror, and it is a good movie. Just doesn't give me goosebumps even when Ryan Reynolds takes his shirt off.
I don't believe that, but
Sorry,
okay.
Ryan
Oh,
Reynolds.
dang. Okay, so in that one, The Mist?
Yeah.
All right. Now, Hard Candy versus Poltergeist.
This is tough.
Yeah.
Because they're both they're like on opposite ends of the spectrum.
They really are.
Yeah.
Wow, this one's going to be tough.
It's like they're different.
Yeah.
They're very
They're
different.
different.
films.
It's like they're different types of movies.
Oh, totally different. Like I said, if you've never seen Hard Candy, you need to, but it's more it's a very psychological drama, and it deals with some very adult, intense it deals with a pedophile and a girl getting a revenge. Another thing, I kind of forgot about this, and I may be wrong. I believe that when this film was released, it had an NC-17 rating, which NC-17 means no one under 17 allowed, period. And if I remember right, I mean, just watching it, there's not much blood and gore. You're going to see more blood and gore in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Saw movie and blah, blah, blah.
Because she had the ice.
Yeah. But it just, that movie had that big theater of the mind. It
was intense.
It was very intense, but it got an NC-17 rating. And I may be wrong on this. I'm sure somebody's going to come out there and hate on me and be like, you dumbass, it was rated R. But I was thinking it was NC-17 just for the subject matter alone. You got to look that up?
Let's look it up.
Let's look it up. Yeah, Hard Candy. What rating was it released as?
This is really hard because, like you said, like
I'm loving this extra time to keep thinking about.
That's
yeah,
fine.
me too. Hard Candy is such like a psychological movie.
It is.
It was rated R.
It was?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, just
haters are gonna hate.
Forget about
but
the last 2 minutes.
yeah,
Just don't listen to any
you
of that.
should probably just forget everything I've ever said.
But
Maybe I should have looked that up. Okay, it was rated R. Sorry. Oh well. So
But
we
yeah,
stalled long enough.
it's
Hard
such-
Candy, Poltergeist.
Hard Candy is like it's so intense, but then Poltergeist, I don't know, it's such a classic, and then it has like when we went back recently and rewatched it, it has like those hidden things that you don't notice, like the theme of life and death, and you just catch like little things throughout the movie if you're actually looking for them.
True.
And I just feel like Poltergeist is a very well-made movie.
It's a blockbuster.
Yeah.
It was a summer blockbuster.
Like,
I
not
mean,
only does it have a good story, like a good meaning behind it, like it's just all together, like it's a good movie.
True.
But Hard Candy is like, Man,
While you're
it
deciding,
was a nail biter.
I'm not sure if T's ready to shout an answer out or not, but I am.
No, I'm not.
Poltergeist. I'm picking Poltergeist.
Okay.
Just because, like I said, it was the very first horror movie I saw when it came out in '82. Scared the crap out of me. I couldn't sleep for days because I was terrified of the closet scene.
Okay.
I didn't even have a swimming pool in my background, but that thing just terrified me. The clown. I didn't have a clown in my room, but I was terrified of clowns. Still to this day, kind of terrified of clowns. And that wasn't even a real clown. That was a doll. I'm going Poltergeist all the way on this one. So.
I'm ready.
Okay, T, let's go with you.
Poltergeist. Yeah, I was gonna say Poltergeist, but thank you.
Gotcha.
Because I really like both movies, but Poltergeist is just a better movie.
Okay, so 2 for Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wins, but I want to hear.
I think I'm going to go Poltergeist too because it's just a very well-rounded
It is.
movie. It's
To me,
great.
Poltergeist is one of those movies that maybe the practical effects are great.
Mm-hmm.
Even the scary, I wouldn't call them CGI, but those kind of special effects.
Yeah.
If you were going to show somebody, 80s movies sucked, show them Poltergeist because it's got its funny moments. It's got great characters. It's got great acting. It's got great music.
Yeah.
It's one of the movies that you should show somebody today. Now, this is what a movie was back, because a lot of the 80s movies don't hold up.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them do, some of them don't. I think Poltergeist is one that still holds up.
Yeah.
To this day, I watch it. I've seen Poltergeist at least 25 times. I know.
Wow.
It's kind of sad.
I think I've seen it 3 or 4, and
Yeah.
that's kind of a lot.
That's a
me
lot for you because you
movies.
generally don't do that. How many times have you seen it?
I'm kind of one.
Just once? Okay.
Yes.
But one time and it made, you remembered
it's-
some.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I remember it very well.
All right. And Hollywood, please stop remaking things like that because there was no reason to do it.
Man, the remake was just
Not very good.
no.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, that brings us to The Burbs versus The First Purge.
I don't think I have to even discuss this. The First Purge.
The First Purge.
I love The Burbs, but it's a comedy. It should be represented. It should be watched once a year or twice a year. I'm
it's
going
that
First
time of
Purge.
year.
It is that time of the year.
Watch The Burbs, people.
And I'm also thinking ahead, The Burbs is not going to beat some of these other movies.
Right.
So
Might as well get it out of there.
might as well get it out of there.
Yeah.
So, all right. So The Burbs, sorry, Burbs, you're not going to make it through this round. So The First Purge, landslide victory on this one, correct?
Definitely.
Wow.
Yes.
So this brings us to probably the 2 most important movies on this list, or at least the 2 most popular. If you haven't seen these, screw you. But if you haven't seen these, you're probably not listening to the podcast anyway. You're probably waiting for us to do something on knitting or baking or something.
We're not going to do that.
Yeah. You probably drink White Claw and listen to Nickelback. If
Hey,
you're
okay.
whoa, what part offended you? White Claw?
No, Nickelback. You know that I like Nickelback, and I think that they're a respectable band, and I think that it's just a meme to hate on them because they're actually very good.
Okay. There you go.
And you know that I believe that.
I know you do. Just trying to throw you off your game.
Never that.
I understand. Anyway, so I did have a sponsor lined up with White Claw, but I guess I blew that. So podcast checks ain't coming in anytime soon. All right, so back to this. Evil Dead 2 versus Halloween. This one's going to, I don't know.
I know mine.
Halloween is my answer because I just like Halloween more as a movie. It's more my type of movie than Evil Dead 2.
I want to take a second to clarify. We are talking about the 1978 classic John Carpenter movie, correct? We're not talking about the reboot. We're not talking about the
we're talking
Rob
about
Zombie.
the
original Halloween.
Yes.
Yes.
Let me go next.
Okay.
Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2.
You're the deciding vote.
I know. Okay, so Halloween. I'm 8 years old when the movie comes out. I see the commercial on TV. It scares
God,
the
you're old.
crap. I am old. I'm 49.
That's not
What?
very old.
Well,
It's not too old.
I don't know. I just had a moment. Just like you say, I'm not very old, and my mind went blank. So at 8 years old, I see
Checks
the
out.
movie. Yeah. All right, I see the movie at 8 years old. No, I take that back. I see the commercial for the movie, just a commercial on TV, not even cable. And it scared the crap out of me. I didn't see the movie till 8 years later. I'm still terrified of Michael Myers. I watch that film all the time. Evil Dead 2, I saw in the theaters. Here's this quick story. I won't drag this on too long. I saw that, and then when it came out on VHS, I was going to a church lock-in. If you know what that is, it's where your youth group meets at the church, and they lock you in for the night. And we're like, hey, we should watch a movie. All of us, kind of bedtime, but nobody slept. I'm like, I got this VHS tape of a movie called Evil Dead 2. It's a horror movie. And it's but it's funny. It's more like an Abbott and Costello or a Three Stooges horror movie kind of thing. And they're like, I convinced my church youth group, and we watched Evil Dead 2 in the basement of my church.
Wow.
And this was a legitimate church religion, Presbyterian. This wasn't a cult.
Right.
And we watched it, and everybody loved it.
Just
and
the fact that you just decided to throw that it wasn't a cult out there just makes me a little...
Might have been a cult.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't a cult.
All right.
It was a legitimate church, and it was people, I don't know. We watched it. It was awesome. I don't know. Crap. What'd you pick, T? Halloween?
Yeah.
Mads?
Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2. I'm the decider.
Yeah.
Crap. I don't know. I'm going to go. I know this is weird. I watch them both, so now I'm just thinking I can't even say what's the better movie. Evil Dead 2 was awesome, but Halloween was a game changer.
Slasher films.
And then I'm gonna go back to which one am I gonna pop in to the DVD player. I'm gonna go Halloween. I just feel bad. I know. I'm sorry, Bruce Campbell. You didn't make it. You should have. Hail to the king, baby.
He was on Burn Notice. He had a good run.
He had a good run. He still has a good run. If you haven't seen
On Burn Notice,
yeah, he plays Sam Axe. You need to see Bruce Campbell in all of his glory.
Yeah.
So, wow. The second round is done. So, let's all right, Maddie, give me a recap on this one.
All right, so we had A Quiet Place versus Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs won. The Amityville Horror versus The Mist. The Mist won. Hard Candy versus Poltergeist. Poltergeist took that one. The Burbs versus The First Purge. The First Purge won by a landslide. Evil Dead 2 versus the original Halloween. Halloween took that one. So now we got, coming up, Silence of the Lambs versus The Mist.
Yeah, we do. All right, so Silence of the Lambs versus The Mist. This one's getting a little tougher.
Yeah.
You notice how we're still...
Ooh.
These categories, we started off with 10 categories, and they kind of, these two were based on a book, or these two were based on this.
Right.
They kind of... Did you notice that The Silence of the Lambs and The Mist are still... We're talking about films that were based on very popular novels.
Yes.
Or I think The Mist was a novella or novelette.
One by my favorite author,
Stephen King. Yeah,
Just
credit where
love him.
credit's due.
I'm currently reading, as a little side note, The Institute by Stephen King. It's his newest
How is
book.
it?
It's really good. It's I just started it. I just listened to the audiobook while I'm traveling for work. And I like it. It's just now getting into the story.
Right.
So
Okay.
good.
Shout out to Stephen King.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he'll send us a check.
Yes.
Yeah. We need the monies.
we really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
This
so
one's going to be tough.
Silence of the Lambs versus The Mist.
I'll
Go ahead. Do you want to go, T?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Think Silence of the Lambs for me.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make you the deciding vote on this. I'm going to screw you.
Gosh.
I'm going Mist, and the
Maybe.
reason I'm going Mist because I still go back to Silence of the Lambs is such a great film, but The Mist has that moment and the ending, and I love, the kind of underscore about the religious undertones and about how people can take religion way too far, and it's got some great characters that were in The Walking Dead. So I'm going Mist. So it's Silence of the Lambs 1, The Mist 1,
Gosh,
and our creative director.
it's a lot of pressure.
You're sweating.
Break the tie.
I'm wearing a sweater. Goodness. Okay. I gotta go.
It sucks.
I gotta go with The Mist.
Wow. Okay, why?
Yeah. It's just
Because
it had more of an impact on me, and like I said, I'm a sucker for sappy movies.
okay. So 2 Mist, 1 Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next we've got, what do we have? Poltergeist versus The First Purge, correct?
Yes. That's a hard one
That's what
because
she said.
like we were talking about, Poltergeist is a great movie, but The First Purge is like one of my all-time favorites.
And you wrote a paper about it.
I did. I wrote a paper about it.
I took 9 pages of notes on the Poltergeist movie, and I've never written a paper about it. We put you in a lot of pressure the last one, so you want to...
I think I got a B on that paper, so does that mean I have to...
I'm just saying, do you want to... You want to go first on this?
I don't know. I do know. I'm going to pick The First Purge because I love the meaning in it, because it's not, like, they're not shoving it down your throat, but it's also easy to understand that there is, like, a societal message behind it, and it's just...
There's some great symbolism and some great things in that movie.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not so far hidden, and they're not preaching to you. It's there. You can appreciate it.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, movie terms and stuff, but, like, like, transitions between scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, it's just so good. Like, I love that movie.
Okay.
So, I'm picking The First Purge.
Alrighty.
I'm also gonna pick The First Purge just because I remember it a little more. I remember liking it a little more. Like, I like Poltergeist, and I know all that it stands for and how iconic it was. But I'm gonna have to go with The First Purge.
Well, obviously, then that's 2-1. I'm going to pick Poltergeist just because, like I said, I think it's a classic. I think it's going to stand the test of time. The First Purge is a great movie to me. 20 years from now, will it be a great movie?
Yes.
Okay. It could be. It could be very well. It could be in 10 years. That could be like the classics that people are talking about. And out of the
we'll
four,
see.
You never know.
Out of the
We'll see.
4 Purge movies, it's my favorite.
Yeah, it's the best out of the whole series.
I love the first one, but I would go the fourth film, which is The First Purge, is my
Yeah.
favorite, and then the very first one, and then I go part 2 is I'd go in that order because Frank Grillo, who plays he's in
2,
lots
that
of
was
stuff.
Anarchy.
Yeah, and
Or-
3 was
yeah.
Election Year or something. 3 was
Yeah.
my least favorite.
Yeah, I didn't care for
yeah.
3.
And then, so that's another thing. Because of 3, I didn't have very high hopes for the fourth one, the first
Yeah.
Purge. But that one really, God, now I don't want to change my answer. But
I mean, it doesn't matter either way.
yeah,
'Cause
if
it's still
that
one.
movie would have went up against almost any other on this list, I probably would have picked it because you're right. It's a great film. It's a very good film.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the first Purge, if you're like me and you thought the third one kind of sucked, and you're not gonna watch this, this fourth flick, do yourself a favor and go check it out because it's so good. Okay, so the first Purge. So Halloween is still gonna get a bye. Okay, so now we're gonna do. Where are we at then?
The Mist versus The First Purge. Interesting.
That is very interesting.
Uh,
I'll say this because I know where we're going with this. As much as I love The Mist, and it's one of my favorites, up against First Purge,
yeah.
I'm going First Purge because I do see First Purge being a classic down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So between those two, I'm picking First Purge.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I agree.
Really? Is it a shutout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is very anticlimactic. I think people wanted to hear us argue oh, the first one they were arguing like cats and dogs, and now they're all getting along like friends.
Man.
Yeah,
We
I don't know.
resolved
It's
our
like
issues,
we're
guys.
starting to have similar movie taste.
we kind of are, which
Rubbing
is
off
good.
on each other.
We should be. You guys should just go through my DVD collection and, it gets really deep.
That would take a lot of time.
Ah. Yeah. That's a good one. Though, I do have a problem, don't I? Did I tell you what I bought the other day?
No, what'd you buy?
I bought Roadhouse 2.
Come on,
Electric
man.
Boogaloo.
Yeah, I wish it was as good as, Break Into Electric Boogaloo. A lot of people don't even know there's a Roadhouse 2. There is.
I didn't until you bought it.
Yeah.
Oh my
I've seen
gosh.
it and I hate it, but I
Ashamed.
saw
You
it.
should be ashamed.
I should. I'm like, it was $2. I'm buying it.
That's funny.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
told one of my friends that and he's like, dude, you need help.
His movie collection is probably worth a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
bet.
It's worth, I probably have 400 and some horror movie DVDs. And if you put all together what they're worth as far as like good movies and stuff, my horror movie collection's probably worth $38.92.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah, I've got, let's see, what else did I buy? I just bought all of the Phantasm movies, all 5 of them, if anybody's never
You
seen
probably
one.
have a lot of money. You have all the Conjuring.
No. Well, I have 2 Conjuring,
Isn't there only 2?
but there's all the Annabelle spin-offs
well,
and all
those
that.
Okay,
don't
but
count.
the
Those are Annabelle.
Conjuring.
Yeah. You have all the Purge movies, Insidious. You have all the Halloween movies, and then some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have Wolf Cop and Wolf Cop. I have the second one's called Another Wolf Cop. I have
Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotep.
Yeah, you have like all the Bruce Campbell movies.
My Name is Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bubba Hotep, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. I have like 3 copies of Army of Darkness because one of them has like an alternate ending. I'm like, I gotta have that. And you've seen
problem.
Yeah, you've seen. Maddie has gone through some of the DVDs I have, and how many copies of the Halloweens do I have? First off, I have all of the films, right?
I want to. There's like 15, maybe.
15. There's not 15.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's.
There's Halloween. There's Halloween 2. There's Halloween 3. Season of the Witch, which is a great film.
It is. It's good.
Has nothing to do with Michael Myers, but it's a great film. Then there's Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. There's Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. There's Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, which has the film debut of Paul Rudd. Yay.
Oh.
Then there is Halloween H2O, Halloween Resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, there is Rob Zombie's Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And then there is the recent, not a reboot, it's Halloween, came out in 2018, which is a direct sequel to the first Halloween.
Yeah.
That's
So
10
that
or
was
11.
that was 11.
Yeah. And I
then
have...
You have extra copies.
I have the DVD versions of every film. I have the Blu-rays. I have a couple extra copies of Halloween 2 because it came out with a bonus thing. I have an extra copy of the first Halloween because when they released it on NBC to show it on TV, they had to add like 2 or 3 minutes to do this. And I loaned it to my son Noah, and I never got that back. So I'm kind of hoping I can get that back sometime. But anyway, so I'm a freak, right? Okay. So,
It's okay. We all have our thing.
yeah.
Everybody has a thing.
Yeah.
Mine's shoes.
Here's the shoes.
And
Mine's
clothes in
and all mine are
general.
locked
Yes,
up in these like little lock
mine
things. And if the
is.
house catches on fire, I grab those.
Mine is clothes.
Clothes, shoes, and DVDs.
Okay, so
So our
away
next
from our
podcast, we're gonna
obsession.
have a thing on
An
shoes. We're gonna
intervention.
we're gonna battle it out on shoes. Okay, so back to this. So now it's what, the first Purge?
versus Halloween, the final decider. What's the best horror movie?
Wow.
This is crazy because it's like your favorite versus my favorite.
Oh damn! It's a showdown.
It is.
It's a throwdown, showdown. I have a feeling that T is going to be the deciding vote on this.
Okay.
So I'm saying Halloween. I'm just saying it because you're insane for picking what you're about to pick, Maddie. You're going to pick the first Purge, but you're a youngin'. You're still stupid. I'm kidding. You're not
Yeah,
stupid.
don't
You're
be
very
ageist.
intelligent. Ageist. I'm going Halloween.
Well, we all know that Maddie's going to pick the first Purge.
I gotta do it. It's a great movie.
So I'll just go.
Okay, so this is it. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
You decide the whole tournament.
This is very easy for me, so stop pressuring me. I already know what I'm gonna pick, y'all.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Halloween. Halloween is, oh my gosh, I remember that movie so clearly, and I cannot say that I've seen it as many times as Jeff, but I've seen it more than probably any other horror movie that I've seen, and it is very memorable and it's scary. Like, Michael Myers is scary.
He
like
is
I
scary.
remember growing up and like being scared that Michael Myers was gonna appear in my room. Like,
I hear you.
It's a scary movie.
That mask, and
it's very plain mask.
it is. And the first one and the second one, and I think the reboot, that mask is terrifying.
Yes, but it's scary.
Yeah, it is. Just a guy standing there for no reason whatsoever than to just kill people. So we had 20 movies, and we narrowed it down to one. And out of these 20 movies, Halloween is the movie that the three of us decided is the winner. Let's give a round of applause for all of the movies. But Halloween, it came, it saw, it kicked ass.
Yep.
It really did.
Rightfully so.
So our first year Tournament of Terror, it's a pretty good success, I would say.
Yeah.
I would.
That was fun.
Yeah, we're only 35 minutes into it. We can talk, we can wrap it up, we can do whatever. I do want to say this, though, because we're in the season of the movies.
Yes,
So-
it is fall, y'all.
Yeah. So, T, pick a movie that was not represented on this list
Okay.
that doesn't matter whether we've seen it or not. But, like, if you were like, oh, here's a movie I want you to watch, Average Jeff, what would you hand to me and be like, this is going to impress you, or this is what I really like? Name something that you think would be a good one for me to
Any
check out.
movie?
Like
or
a-
like
right,
just horror
like a
movie?
Horror movie.
movie
Let's stay
or-
in the horror movie
Oh,
genre.
okay.
Let's stay in that if we can.
Oh.
I don't know. I have to think. It's like I've just discussed these 20 horror movies.
I know,
so
those
much.
are like
so
the only
they're
ones I
only
can
ones-
think of.
Right. So I'm trying to think of ones that
Wow.
I
Okay.
just. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna say I know a lot of people didn't think that this movie was very scary, but it came out recently, The Nun. That
What-
movie,
I haven't seen that.
Was that good?
yes, and
Okay.
it was terrifying to me. So
I wanted to check that out. I just assumed because it was like the 90th movie in his Conjuring stuff that it can't be any good. But
yeah,
at
it
the
was
same time,
different. It veered off from like the
Okay.
story.
I kind of forgot that was a thing. I did want to see that.
Yeah, that's just one that I've seen recently.
I got you.
Or I mean, It too. I really liked It.
Yeah.
Chapter 2.
It's a great
But I
movie.
know that everybody's seen that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go with The Nun. That movie was very scary.
That's a good pick. I'm going to pick The Crow. Because The Crow is, well,
Oh
and
my God.
it's a great one to watch around Halloween. And if you haven't seen it, it's such a good movie.
He loves The Crow.
I do love it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd call it a horror movie. It's more a comic book kind of action movie, but it's just such a good flick. And it takes place on Devil's Night, which they're in Detroit. I believe that's the night before Halloween or whatever. It's such a good movie. And that's another one. They've made sequels and they're horrible. But the Brandon Lee original, and God rest his soul, he died while they were filming the movie, but it is such a good flick. And to me, it's a perfect movie. It's got its flaws. You watch it 20 times, and that they screwed that up or whatever. But Hollywood, please don't remake that one. Just let that one lie where it is, because you're not going to do any better. And I know they've tried or they've thought about it, and I guess guys like Bradley Cooper have even thought of reprising the role, and kind of happy he's not.
Interesting.
Just let it go.
Right.
Yeah, let it go.
Just let The Crow live
Let it go.
as it is.
Yep.
So I'm going to venture off a little bit and
Okay.
say a TV show instead.
That's not. Oh, cool.
The Netflix series Haunting of Hill House. If you guys haven't watched that yet, it's great. Can't wait for part 2. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I haven't either, but
It's based on the book Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I actually bought it about a week ago, and I haven't started reading it yet because I suck at motivating myself to do things. But I plan on doing that, and I hope it's as good as the show.
The books are usually better
Yeah, I mean,
than the
and
movies or
from
the
what
shows.
I have read about it, it seems like it's just loosely based on it. I don't think
okay.
Yeah.
they're like the same.
It's like you cannot make a TV show based off of one book.
Yeah.
Because at some point you have to veer off from the story to keep the show going. Case in point, Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
There was one book, and now there are 7 seasons of the show, and it's like all of this stuff did not happen to Piper Chapman.
Yeah. And I believe the book The Haunting of Hill House is like about that family living in the haunted house, but the series is it does like flashbacks, so it takes place when the kids are older, and then it'll like flash back and show you things that happened when they were living in the house when they were younger, but it mostly takes place in the present whenever they're all grown up. And then I'm not going to say too much in case anybody hasn't watched it.
I haven't.
You should.
I want
haven't
to
either.
Yeah. It's a great show.
This has been a good episode.
Yeah.
This was fun.
It was.
This is a twofer to part 2. Like I said, we just finished up Tournament of Terror Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. So let's tell everybody goodbye. I want to thank my co-host T. Thank you so much for taking part in this.
I love it. I wouldn't rather be anywhere else.
Yeah. Special guest, our creative director Maddie. Second time on the podcast. It was great to have you on the air. Thank you so much for this.
Yes, you should just join us full time.
You should join us full time.
I'll consider it. Check my schedule, you know.
Yeah.
Never mind. I think we should just rescind that.
Oh, dang.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Don't act like you're too busy for us.
hey, I want to plug this real
totally
quick.
not.
Coming up, and I have to give a shout out to my co-host T, who's always helping so much, and I want to give a shout out to my creative director, who's helping me develop upcoming podcast, which is going to be a horror movie game show. We'll be filming that. We're going to start filming it, I believe, recording tomorrow. So hope to have those up, and then. A lot of us are going to be taking a vacation here soon, and we are going to be enjoying some sun and sand. So, anyway, don't forget, check us out on Twitter at Idle Chat Podcast. Check me out on Facebook, Idle Chatter with Average Jeff. And don't forget averagejeff.net. Keep listening to those podcasts. We love y'all. Good night.
Yes, we do.
Bye.